What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We are out here in the garage today messing around with what I hope is going to be a good purchase here. We picked up some Dirty Dingo LS swap engine mounts. They are raw, so I have to paint them so they don't rust and turn into crap. I will say this is the first set of Dirty Dingo mounts, like true Dirty Dingo mounts I've had. I've obviously had the Chinese stuff from eBay. I did some reading on the forums, and some guy had said that this particular mount was the go-to mount for this. It was the only LS swap Ranger build that I saw that somebody actually used like an actual swap mount for it, and not just took like a combination of, you know, a couple different stock mounts and cut them and hacked them and welded them and all that stuff. You know, and I may end up having to do something like that. I don't know. I was just trying to save myself a little time, and hopefully we can make these things work. Like I said, I am going to have to clean them up, wipe them off, get all the, because obviously there's a little bit of some kind of oil residue or something on them to keep them from flash rusting. But I got some throttle body intake cleaner stuff. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna use that to wipe it off because I'm out of carb clean and brake clean and lacquer thinner and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna wipe them off with that, see where it gets them. But we get these all cleaned up, get them sprayed. Just gonna do them black, whatever, just coat them. And then we'll get them put on the engine and hopefully try and test fit the engine and transmission in the truck. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to try and get this LS 5.3 with turbo 350 set down in the truck today. That's the plan. Let's get it. Alright guys, so I got my first coat of self-etching primer on here. Self-etching stuff, basically you don't have to sand it. It's not really the best case because obviously I would always want to sand it, but something like this didn't really matter. But yeah, put the self-etching primer on it, a couple little light coats, and then we're going to throw some of this Van Sickle tractor and equipment and industrial powder coat on these things. So I'll spray a couple coats of that on there. We'll get them all cleaned up and ready to go. Alright, so got the old trusty powder coat sprayed on these old girls. That'll do for now. My next step is, I know I'm going to have some clearance issues, so I think I'm going to go ahead and lay the radiator out and cut out a section of this core support. You know, that's about the width of the radiator because I plan on tucking the radiator inside the core support. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all marked out, and I'll show you what I got to cut out for the radiator, and then that should hopefully help get the motor and tranny in as one, and hopefully not have any clearance issues, and should just make life a little bit easier. But I'll get this marked out and I'll show you where we're going with it. Alright, so my camera died in the midst of all this, and rather than stop and wait for the camera to charge, since I'm cheap and I only have one GoPro too, I already started putting it in. I got the Dirty Dingo mounts on it. It's not really sitting in a good spot because these mounts, I mean, they're not meant for this, so I don't really know. I'm going to try and play with them a little bit. The mounts themselves actually have a little dowel pin on them where they're supposed to center up in some hole on the Datsun. They don't do that on this from what I understand. I mean, why would they? But I got a jack underneath the transmission, and then the motor's just hanging there. I did get the front part of the core support cut out and try to make it look as good as possible, just kind of temporarily. I will clean it up a little bit more, but it'll make tucking a radiator in there a lot better, and then it'll help me get the motor in and out as well. But anyways, here it is. You can see I opened this up. I mean, obviously it's not the prettiest, but then you'll have a radiator obviously filling this gap, and it'll give me a little bit more room between the radiator and the balancer. I may end up putting an F-body balancer on it to give me a little bit, a little bit more room there as well. But yeah, there it is. The mounts, I don't know. I mean, obviously the motor needs to go back some more. It's hitting on some stuff underneath the truck. It's hard to tell. I guess I'm going to try and just set it down for now in there. I need to raise, well, that's probably not even a good idea. I need to raise it up, pull the stock, maybe I can pull the stock cross member out now as it is. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I'm going to pull a stock cross member out in hopes that, because I think maybe something's hitting on it, because I can't really shove the motor back any further for whatever reason, and there's no way that's going to work, because, which you can't really see because my lighting sucks right here, but the mount is here and the cross member's here, so it needs to go back probably another 2 or 3 inches to line up, the way I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm gonna, oh hey, look, that's stuck on the spark plug. I'm gonna try and pull that cross member out, the training cross member, the stock one, and then I'm gonna attempt to do some more wiggling around and see if I can get this motor to sit down in a fairly decent spot. And then from there I can go ahead and attempt to build a trans cross member for it. And then once I get that done, then I'm going to pull the motor back out. I want to try and clean up the frame rails and stuff inside the engine bay, clean up the engine bay, figure out some wiring and some brake lines and all this stuff, because I'm thinking I'm actually going to, I think I might pull the stock booster and master out and maybe just put like a Willwood master or something on it and then make some new lines for it, just to try and clean up some of that area. I am going to have to do something with the steering column. I've seen some guys do some really gnarly stuff with them. So, yep, that's just all part of the build process. You never know what you're going to get. But anyways, this thing's kicking my butt. Should have bought an S10. Or I should have bought another S10 is what I should say. But I got rid of it because I thought that was a good thing to do. And I thought buying a Ranger is also a good thing to do, both of which were bad decisions. So I got it back up out of here, and I had to massage the trans tunnel there. And by massage, by massage, that means hit it with a BFH. And if you don't know what BFH is, just Google it. I'm sure there's something out there. And then I think I'm going to have to cut this little ear off here too. And maybe quite possibly this guy here. Maybe. I'm probably going to kick myself in the butt because I'm not going to cut that. And then when I go to put back together, everything else is going to clear, and this is going to be gone, and then it's going to clear, and then this is going to hit. And then I'm going to be like, dang, I should have cut that off while I had the motor back out of it. This is a tight fit. It does not like to fit in this truck. But I'm going to get that ear cut off and try and retest fit it back in there even further. Alright guys, so yet again I've failed to get much accomplished. I got, the motor's sitting down in it, but the guy that said these dirty dingo mounts work, they do not. He made it sound like they just dropped right in. They do not. So part of me kind of feels like that was a waste of money, but that's all trial and error stuff there. I did, however, take the old cross member, the transmission cross member, and a little shorty lift here. So the cross member actually is supposed to bolt here and here, so it kind of wraps up underneath of it, and then comes to the training. But I ended up hacking it off and moving it above the frame rail. This is actually kind of how I have the boost knuckles cross member in it, which the cross member in it is actually the old spare tire holder that I repurposed and made the cross member with it. But anyways, that's up in there. It does need to move around a little. I've got it pretty close to square, I think. It's so hard to tell because there's not really any like center points on this truck that I can look at and eyeball and know that it's true center. You know, I don't believe the frame is particularly, you know, square, or I don't know that the motor sits, you know, square inside the frame rails, so, or in center of side the frame rails. Yeah, I'm just kind of beat right now. I know it'll get there. It just kind of stinks. I feel like I'm gonna have to take the whole front end off this truck, which also sucks terribly bad. But I mean, it's just part of it. Luckily, I mean, I'm thankful that I have a shop that's big enough that I can, you know, scatter. I mean, I got stuff scattered everywhere, you know, and granted, it's not much of a lift, but it's half of a lift, you know, and half a lift's better than no lift at all. But you know, like I said, I've got it pretty, what I think is pretty square, you know, or pretty level. Right here you've got, you know, I'm just basically got to make sure that the motor matches whatever the, you know, the level of the truck is. I mean, it's about a degree off there. So you put it on the motor, you know, and it's about a degree off there. So, I mean, ideally, that's, you know, it would be square there. But, and I'm trying to, I don't know for certain, but there's that bolt right here in that back of that firewall. And part of me is thinking that is true center. But I don't know that that's even accurate. So I'm just kind of, I'm defeated right now. Sucks real bad. Especially I don't have a MIG welder right now, so if I wanted to try and fab my own mounts, I was, you know, I'm kind of up shit creek there. So anyways, we got the motor in it nonetheless. It's, or not necessarily in it, but it's inside the truck for now. Bunch more fab work we got to do to try and make this happen. But anyways, Project Gold Dust, we're going to get there one way or the other, and you know, this thing's going to be a ripper nonetheless. But that's going to do it, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll turn this off before I start beating my head against the wall, so you all have to watch that. But keep following along. You know, keep looking for the progress on the boost knuckle, on the Gold Dust. I mean, all of it. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys later.